Hey, this is Preston from Chaosera. I wanted to make a quick video on how to make a very basic website. If you're in any sort of band, it doesn't have to be a genre similar to ours, but coming up with a website can be confusing and expensive. You either have to pay somebody a bunch of money to make one, or you have to pay $30 a month just to have a website. I'm going to show you how to make one for free. If you want to sell merch on there, you will have to probably get a Shopify plan, but there's a secret one that I'll show you that's only $5 a month. And if you do that, you could do free or $5 a month for a website, which is way cheaper than any other way you could do it. So let's just dive in. It'll look scary, but I promise it's super easy. So stick with it.
Okay, so before I go through this and make you waste your time and actually watch this video, I'm going to show you exactly kind of what we're making here and what you're going to have at the end of this video. This is the band that I'm in, Chaosera. It's the channel you're watching. This is our website, and it's very basic, very simple. We don't need a lot. We're not big by any means. So, but I think it's important for every band to have a website, any business to have a website. And one thing I hate is gatekeeping. So I want to share how I do this, right? It's hosted for free on GitHub, as well as we're using a special Shopify account that is very cheap, and it's perfect for what we need. So by the end of this video, I'll have a template that I'll put with a link to a Patreon that we're starting as well. We're getting really serious in 26 and really want to be better at social media. But first thing I think should be giving back to, the community. So here it is. This is the website, very basic. Like I said, there's some links up at the top. If you click on music, it'll take you to the music section. I mean, it's all one page, but there's links in case you're too lazy to scroll. You can just click on that. Same thing here. Some people are too lazy, so just click on that, right? It works in mobile as well. So if I, let's say I want to look at a iPhone 14 Pro Max, this is what it looks like on an iPhone. This part could be worked on a little bit, but who cares? There's a little menu button up here that you can click and turn on and off. You might have noticed right as soon as I came to the website, there was a pop-up. So this pop-up comes up and asks you for an email. This part is optional. In fact, I'll point that out in the template as well. This is going to take very bare minimum coding knowledge. And in fact, you really don't need to know coding at all. You just need to be able to follow this video. If you know somebody who has done any sort of web development, this should be very easy for them as well. So let's actually look at what's happening here. So this is the entire code for the website. It looks like a lot, but this bottom half is just copied and pasted from Shopify. So first thing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change things as I go. I'm going to tell you what they're for. You will at this point hopefully have downloaded this template and then changing things as I do. So for the title, which should be on line 8 here, this is going to be your band name. That's what shows up on the tab. And I'm not going to keep going to the website, but just make sure you put the title, his band name. And then I've already started changing some stuff here before I started filming. Official site for band name. So official band site for Chaosera. This is just metadata. I would leave all this stuff alone. This part right here is the email bit, right? If you have a MailChimp, you can set that up. You'll just have to make a, email landing page in MailChimp, and then it'll give you some code. You'll paste that here. In fact, I will put paste MailChimp code here. This is optional. This is an extra step that I'm not going to show you how to do. But if you have a MailChimp and you want to start collecting emails, from people, that's what you're going to have to do. And I forgot how to use my keyboard for a second because I'm fucking stupid. Okay, let's do that. All right, so let's go zoom back in for you. I want to make sure you guys can see this. They keep popping up the stupid AI thing. this section here is, stop with the AI BS, dude. Get out of here. Okay. This section here is the next step that you're gonna use. Don't change any of, like, in my case it's purple, yours might be a different color depending on your settings, and I do recommend getting VS Code. It's free. That's how I would edit this. But these settings here, or these purple ones or whatever they are for you, I wouldn't touch these, at least not until you're comfortable with it. So this is going to be the top left. This is going to be the logo. In my case, this is the image that we use. So you're going to put whatever image you want. In fact, let's make one really quick. So I'm going to change this to logo.png. You'll see that it is up here now. That's what I downloaded. So .assets or ./assets/logo.png. I recommend you having your logo in this assets folder, call it logo.png, and then just change, or you wouldn't have to change anything at that point. You just put your logo.png in here. I also have a plugin called Go Live or Live Server, which you can get by going to extensions, type in Live Server. I would recommend installing this plugin. It's free for VS Code. Okay, so if you open up the Live Server by hitting the Go Live down here, it'll open up a browser with a local hosted version of this website. And every time you save this document, it'll change in real time. So you'll see that the logo.png has now changed. Then you'll put in your band name here, band name. If I save, you'll see it says, it'll reload, says band name. We're going to call this let's say music genre city state. Sure. So if you wanted to be like metalcore, New York, whatever, you could do that. So I save that. You could do that. We're going to scroll down to the next section. We're really only changing these white bits, and in this case we're going to skip these, leave these alone. We'll do this part here. This is going to be this whole main section here. So this has got, in our case, a video. Either you're going to have a video background or you're not. Okay, that's pretty much what you need to decide. If you want to have a video background, you have to have it in a WebM format. You'll put that WebM video in your assets folder, and then you'll just name this, you know, whatever. I recommend you naming it background.webm. If you don't have that video, that's fine. I'm going to save this as background.webm. It's not going to be there, so it's going to fall back on this poster.jpg, or we'll call this background.jpg, and I'll change this to background.jpg. So now if you have a background.webm, it will play here. If you don't, it will play this. It'll just show this background.jpg. This is also important if you do have a video for your background, that you still make some sort of background.jpg, because if you don't, if somebody uses a browser that does not allow them to play that video, it will show this picture, which I got from a royalty-free website. So I'm going to leave that there. Okay, so now that we have our background video or poster, in which case, or poster, we're gonna worry about this part here. So I'm going to show you where to change this logo right here. It's going to be under right here where it says img image hero logo source .assets/main.png. I'm gonna include this main logo.png. If I save that, you'll see it looks a little bit different. I'll show you how to change this stuff to your liking sooner or later, but you'll put your own logo here. This is just a big picture with the text "replace me" on there, which, unless that's your band name, then yeah, you'll probably want to change that. Debut album 2026, whatever you want to say here. Yeah, you can say something like you know, best band ever for real, right? That's like what kids say, right? So we're going to do that. Best band ever for real. And then I'll leave these buttons here, but if you wanted to change them, listen and shop merch, go to hashtag music and hashtag merch. If we go down here, we'll see ID music. That's the hashtag. So when you click on listen, it puts this part up at the top, this music section. Now this part is pretty easy. So we're going to leave music here, unless you want to. You can remove this if you don't like the look of it, but here we're going to edit these. For now, I'm going to leave our stuff in here because I don't have rights to put other people's music on here. So we're going to do, your song name, and then you'll see that changes up here, and then that's going to need your Spotify source code. I'll show you how to get that. So if we open up Spotify, you guys are going to judge me by what I listen to, but let's see. Let's go to Chaos Era. Find the song that you want to embed. We're going to click on these three dots next to the song. We're going to go to share and embed track. You'll be able to design it here however you want, right? So whatever you're feeling, do what you want. Choose your size, all this stuff. And then whatever you're happy with this, hit copy. I suggest leaving these sizes the same because that's what I made it with. And then after you've copied that, so it's this iframe, you're going to replace the iframe that I've included with whichever one you have. And now we have two different styles. So this shows you one way, this shows you another way. I'm going to call this one song name, and then you can replace these to your liking with what obviously your songs, I hope, from your band. But if you want to promote our music, that's cool too. If you want to add more tracks, you're going to put them, you'll have to do this whole thing, so I'm going to delete it anyways, but just to kind of show you what that would look like. Now it's going to add a third one in the line here, so I recommend keeping it at 2. If people want to listen to more, I would just show like your 2 best or your 2 latest tracks. But if you wanted to add more, you can. I don't really have time to show you how to fix the way that this looks with adding more. But if you look up some Flexbox and CSS tutorials, you'll find out how to make this come down here. But I don't want to spend any more time than I really need to on here. I want to make this short and sweet for you. But yeah, that's how you do that. These bits here are pretty simple. You're just going to go to your Apple Music profile, and you're going to copy the link to share, and you're going to paste it in here. And then you're going to find your title link, and you're going to paste it in here. And then you're going to find your YouTube link, you're going to paste it in here. You're going to find your Instagram link, and you're going to paste it in here. And then, so all they got to do is click on this. It'll take them to your YouTube channel, or it will take you to, Instagram, all that stuff, right? Next for this part, this is the hardest part, but this is also like the coolest part. And the reason why I wanted to make this video in the first place was we were trying to figure out like, how can we do some sort of like merch? But it really just depends on how much you care what it looks like. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to go to Shopify. Once you've made a Shopify account and logged in, you'll have to go to, it'll say 3 days left in your trial. You're going to select a plan. Now you'll notice that the cheapest one there is $39 a month, or you'll have, $1 for your first month and whatnot. But if you scroll down here, you'll see more ways to sell. And then starter for selling on social, $1 for 3 months, and then $5 a month after that. You select this one. Once you've selected your starter plan and you've done your payment and everything, you'll be able to start adding your buy buttons. So you'll just click buy button down here, and you'll create a buy button. And then, what type of buy button do you want to create? We're going to do a product buy button, and then we're going to look for products. Now, if you don't have any products, you can make some. We've used Printify, and they seem to be pretty decent quality, and it's a print on demand for now until we save up some money to get like some like bulk shirts and stuff. Once you have your product, made on Printify, and it's connected to Shopify. If you look very closely, I am on Shopify. I'm in my Printify app. I can see this product. So it is in my Shopify. Now, if I go to the buy button and I create a buy button, I should be able to find that new product. I'll select that. I will mark it as available. You can change the way that your Shopify buy button will look. I've opted for this style for all of our stuff, but you can change things. And you can say, like, I want the black, you know, whatever. You can change these variants. You can do all the variants. You can make it just a certain size or certain color. We're going to leave all this the same. We're going to hit next, and you just copy this code, right? This is the main part. So once you have that, we're going to go over here. There are these div class equals see merch item, merch dash item, and then you're going to have to add one of these for every single Shopify buy button. So div class merch dash item, and then a closing div, which is just a little angle bracket / div closing angle bracket. And then you'll paste your Shopify buy button code in here. So, and if you want to, you can see I have these collapsed. You can collapse them by clicking these arrows on the div class equals merch item lines, and that will just kind of clean it up a little bit. But the one thing you have to do, at least for this template to make it look nice, is inside of that, when you paste it, you'll see all this like list of properties. You'll have product, styles, product, and then you'll skip that. You'll go to the title. We're looking for title here. We're going to add a comma after that color line, and then we're going to add quote height quote colon quote 70px quote, then save. Now we'll have 4 items there, and they react properly now. It was being weird when you had items that were the same thing. So yeah, just don't do that. And then, like I said, you can scroll on up here and collapse that. So right now there are 4 merch items that I have. So yeah, if I wanted to add another one, I would just do div class equals merch item. It's going to want to, my autocomplete wants to do this, but so this is what you need to do, and then paste your Shopify code in here. I'm actually going to do this, paste, I'm going to do all caps, paste buy button code between these divs for additional products. Look at that. That's crazy. Okay. Let's comment that out. So this is how each item should look every time you do it. And then don't forget, if you want to make it look even like I do, come down to the title section, add this height line. This, like I said, seems like a lot, but this is a way, and this would work too if you get your Shopify set up correctly. Again, this isn't a Shopify tutorial. It's not a Printify tutorial. If you have your own merch, you can list it on Shopify, and you can link it to this the same way. But you can add these to your cart, and you can check out with PayPal. You can check out with a card. Okay, and so now that all of our code is done, we're going to host it. So what we'll do is we will go over to GitHub. Let me log in really quick. Okay, so now that we have a GitHub account and we're logged in, we're going to go back to VS Code. So on the left-hand side, we have our file explorer, we have our search, and then we have this source control. Click on that. We're going to initialize repository. everything's going to like turn red. I guess depending on what settings you have, it might turn a different color. Once we initialize the repository, it's going to ask for a message. You can type literally whatever you want here. It does not matter. But this is for what you'll see on GitHub. So I would just say this is my initial commit, or some people will shorten it to init commit, which is like the first time that you're basically putting this thing on GitHub. There's no changes because this is the first iteration of it. We'll hit commit, and then we will do init, hit publish branch, publish to GitHub public repository. The folder I have this in is called site copy, so we're just going to call it site copy. Whatever your folder is called is what it's going to default to. So we'll do that. I am already logged into GitHub. You may have to connect your GitHub account if you haven't already. Once you do that, it'll show up here. You'll see all of the stuff here. You have your assets folder, your index.html, and your styles.css. And now, anytime I go into my code, if I were to change anything, so like if I were to delete this space there, you'll see this kind of squiggly line here. I could save this. And now you'll see there's been a change made here. Now I could say deleted space on line 13 of index.html. I can commit that change and I can sync it, and that will push it up. And so that way, if you add a new product or anything, it'll automatically put it on GitHub for you. If you do it that way, any changes you make that you commit will be pushed to GitHub. So we look at GitHub now. Let me see, refresh this. You'll see just now I deleted space on line 13 of index.html. That's why this is so important, because if you really just fuck something up, bro, you can go back and you can see all the changes that you made, and you can go back to an older version, right? That's the whole point of version control. But we're using it as a free hosting service because GitHub does that only for basic websites that do not require a backend. The backend is being handled by APIs. We don't have any server that we're running. Everything's being handled by Shopify. And if you have the MailChimp thing, everything's being handled on that end by MailChimp. We just have links essentially that point to those things. So now that we have our public, make sure it's public. It has to be public. So you should have done that already. Whatever your name is here, site -- copy. We're going to go to settings. We're going to go down to pages, and then it's going to say deploy from a branch, which is true. What branch do we want to use? We're going to call main, which if you have just followed the default settings, it should be main. If you named it something, then make sure you put it as whatever that is, but you should have main. Hit save. So at this point, you could say that you're done. However, it's not quite a real website until you have your own domain name. So what do I mean by that? If I go to, back to the code tab in the top left, I'll see a deployment GitHub pages. If I click on that, it'll take me to this thing here, and I can see that my URL for this is my username.github.io/site -- copy. If I go to that, you'll see the website. It works. Everything works just as it did. But nobody wants to go to this as your website. And I'm sure you want to tell people that your band name is, replaceme.com, or in our case, chaos era or chaos-era.com. Like, that's way cooler to type than whatever this is, right? So how do we get this? Well, if you go back to your settings and you go back to pages on that repository, you'll see a custom domain. I can't help you with this. Find your own domain name, Google it. It's not that hard. You can get a domain name from Squarespace without having a Squarespace site. And a domain name is usually between like $10 and $20 a year, something like that. So I think we got ours through, was it GoDaddy? I think Austin got it. I don't remember. GoDaddy. And I think he said it was like 15 for a year or 18 for a year. I don't know. Anyways, get a domain name. Google how to connect GitHub pages to your domain name. Once you get that done, you'll be able to, depending on your provider for your domain name, it could take like up to 48 hours for this to even work. I know for us, it worked somewhat like right away, but like a lot of browsers wouldn't let us do it because it wouldn't do the force HTTPS, and it just was like coming up as a non-secure site. So anyways, this is a lot. So like I said, I can't guarantee I'm always going to be around to help you out, but if you want to join the Discord, the link will be in the description. Hopefully this helps you out. You know, like I said before, like this is something that we wanted to do to kind of give back. We've had a really cool like first year. We haven't even played a show. We wanted to write music, but now we keep getting asked to play shows, so it's coming soon. We'll be playing. But we really appreciate it. We don't want to be gatekeepers. I hate gatekeepers, dude. Like, a candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. And if I can help somebody else, you know, come up with a decent website, because you kind of need a web presence, you know, these days. And it's nothing fancy, you know, this is essentially a really fancy link tree. Okay. But you don't have to pay for, you know, the link tree thing. You could make a QR code that has your website address on it, and they would take them here. You don't have to pay $30 a month or $40 a month to sell your merch. You know, I mean, heck, you would have to sell like 2 or 3 shirts just to pay for that. This way, it's only $5 a month through this Shopify starter. So, really appreciate if you're here this long. Super cool. Thank you so much. I really appreciate everything. And, yeah, we'll be seeing around. We want to make more content in 2026, whether it's tutorials like this, ways to help you guys out, or just kind of, you know, fun things about the music that we're making. So stay tuned, subscribe, like the video, and we'll see you later.